Anita. That's the only name you need to know. Anita. Well, here we say Anita, but I'm sure they pronounce it slightly differently in France. Anita Kunel is who we're talking about today. And she is something of a, sometimes this stuff takes time, right? Generationally, you can have 2, 3, 4 generations in a property and they learn everything from the father, et cetera, and so forth and so on. In this case, Anita was a famous world cyclist. She was picked for the French cycling team in 1996. And, all of a sudden, Beaujolais, let's do this. And she got a burr up her rear to make Beaujolais. And when you have someone like a cyclist, that's committed to something full on, I don't know of any genre of athlete more committed than the cyclist. These guys that ride 100 miles a day, 150 miles a day and train for the Tour de France and stuff. And when you have that kind of dedication and you're working in one of the coolest wine growing areas on the planet right now, instant magic can happen. And that's what we have here. So she started her domain in 2015 and has immediately risen to super stardom. This has been really quick. And we're glad that we were there pretty much, not at the start, but her first wine's imported into the US, which I think was the 18 or 19 vintage. So this is her 2021 Moulin-à-Vent, Les Caves Très Vieille Vigne. Très Vieille Vigne is French for really old. There's a lot of old vines in Beaujolais. They have wonderful granitic terroir there. The vines are super healthy. There's very little reason to pull out something when it's still yielding beautifully from these great old head-trained bush vines. And accordingly, there's a lot of really magical wine being made there from these great old Gamay vines. 100% Gamay. Now, the thing here's the thing, and this is the crux of today's offer, is the pivot. Once in a while, a producer will try and push their mantra every vintage, like their house style. What I love about Anita's wines is if it's what the French call a solar vintage, meaning hot, sunny, she will make a big wine. She's not afraid to capture the sun in the bottle. When you have a cooler year, like 2021, she's not afraid to put the elegance in there. And man, this is one of the most beautiful, elegant wines of what's already an elegant vintage. No new oak here, very minimal intervention. She'll only spray something in the vineyard. She absolutely has to save a vintage. So she's pretty much organic, plows with horses, yada, yada, the whole thing. It's super cool to do in Beaujolais. And she's doing all that stuff. I love this wine. It gets silkier each time I drink it, which I think is a good thing. Silky, polished, red fruits, that cran to cherry red fruit character that you get out of great Gamay, old vines. Now, okay, here's the other bit of discussion. On the label, it says 65-year-old vines in this one particular Ludi within Moulin-à-Vent, Les Caves. Now, everywhere else I read, it says 80 to up to 100-year-old vines for this cuvee. So I'm really confused because I know it can roll both ways. I mean, you never know what happens here. Like, they print the label once and they're like, we'll just print the label again, who cares? They never fix anything on websites. Great vignerons care a little less about their websites than they do in what's going on in the vineyard. I know Anita is more vineyard oriented. So regardless, your worst case scenario is this is 65 to 70-year-old vines. Your best case scenario, 80 to 100-year-old vines. Kids, it don't matter. They're still friggin' old, like old. And when you get those old vines, that's where you get this beautiful polish and intensity. And gosh darn, this wine's something else. So 96 points from Suckling. I know some of you are like, oh, Suckling gives everything 96. Okay, well, slowly roll. The other thing you have to remember here is Neil Martin from Venice Media, who's pretty stingy. This guy does not give up the ghost. He actually gave the same cuvee 93 points, which for him is a monster score. We're talking the same scores as, who are your favorite Beaujolais people? Burgode? Sure. Dutrève? Yep, same scores. Foillard? Sure, same score. Lapierre? Same score. In this bottle of wine. And I'll tell you what, this gear, $25. Which, as you know, a lot of top Beaujolais, $45 is pretty much the going rate now. So a hell of a deal. This wine should be on your Thanksgiving table, should be on your Christmas table, and I know it's gonna be on mine. Cheers.